Mr. Newby here. Today we're going to talk about the birdhouse project. And there's several parts of the project you're going to have to do. And so we'll get going here. So one of the first things you're going to do is everybody's going to receive a toolbox and the parts to their birdhouse. Okay, and the first thing you're going to do is not put it together. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to label and measure and give me the details of all the parts to the birdhouse. Okay, and you'll do that on a Google Sheet on the computer out of Google Classroom. I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'm not going to use the birdhouse because you'll just copy what I'm doing. I'm going to use a different project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this box. Okay, so this is the required project that my freshmen normally build when we're in school with the machinery and tools for the quarter. This project has a lid that comes off, or top, and it's just a box with the bottom in it. So I have one that is tore apart. So what you will need to do with your parts to the birdhouse, like I'm going to do with the parts to the box, is you're going to fill out one of these forms. Okay? And you'll have the form will be online and you can just type in the information. I'm going to write it in so you see a good example what to do. So what you should do is take all your parts and you got to figure out what they are. So for the birdhouse, you'll see the video, you'll see a picture of it, you should be fine. So for the box, okay, I look at this and this is the top, right? And then I look at these with the detail and that is the front and back. So that means these must be the ends. And the 1/4 inch piece here would be the bottom. So lay them out. Once you know what they are, you'll do that with your birdhouse parts. Then you're going to start filling this form out. So to fill this form out, I'm going to first go through what's in the toolbox because you could use a few things in the toolbox to fill out this form. So let's go to the toolbox real quick. Everyone will receive a toolbox. This toolbox is worth $79. Everything needs to come back. Okay? Or you could be charged for it. But in the tray, we have a tape measure, we have a nail set, we have a pair of needle nose pliers, we have safety glasses, which you should wear when you're assembling them. I have my safety glasses on here. We have a utility knife, which you don't really need for anything, but it is a part of the toolkit. We have a pencil, and then we have a Ziploc bag with all the nails and screws and stuff to put the birdhouse together. In the bottom of the toolbox, we have finish hammer, putty knife, can of putty, very important to keep the lid on the can of putty, bottle of glue, a small combination pocket square, a multi-tip screwdriver, and then you'll have a piece of sandpaper. So that what we need right now to start would be a tape measure, and you guys will do this online. I'm going to do it on this paper. So the first thing you should do with the form that's going to be online is put your name on it. I'm going to put Mr. Newby. Your project, yours will be birdhouse. This one is a box, so I'm going to put box. And then the period I have you, which is 2. So I'm going to start with the biggest part. This is the top. So down here where it says part, I'm going to put in top. How many tops do we have? Quantity. Okay, the quantity is 1. We have 1 top. Then we're going to give the size of that top, thickness, width, and length. So if I measure how thick this top is, the total thickness is 1/2 inch. So I'm going to put 1/2 by. Now the width. The width, you measure cross grain, 4 inches. 4. And then we want to do the length. The length goes with the grain. That is 6 inches. Okay, what kind of material it is? The material is going to be pine And your birdhouse is also made out of pine. And then you don't have to worry about the board feet or square feet. Then what I want you to do is there anything, any details, anything special with the top? And yes, it has this around it. What is that? That is a rabbet. We know it's a rabbet because it's a notch on the end and the edge. So over here on this side, you're going to put the top, label the part, and next to it you're going to say rabbet. And then you're going to tell me how big the rabbet is. So when we measure this, okay, we usually do the depth first. So this rabbet goes in 1/4 inch. So you'd put 1/4 deep by, how wide is the rabbet? And when I measure that, that is 3/8 deep, 3/8 wide. And then you need to tell me something else. Where's it located? All four sides, right? So I'd put located both ends and both edges. Okay, that's the information for the top. I'll go to the next biggest piece, which is these. I would call these the front and back. I could abbreviate that FB for front and back. What's our quantity? How many do we have? 2. What is their thickness? If you measure this, that is 3/8 thick. So I'd fill out 3/8. How wide? Remember, width goes across grain. 3 inches wide. How long? Length goes with the grain, 6 inches long. What kind of material? This is pine. So, over here, for the front and back, I got to give some information. So, it has this detail, but it also has this and that. Okay, let's start with these. Those are rabbets. We know they're rabbets because they're on the end. So, I could put rabbet. And then how deep does the rabbet go into the wood? That depth is 1/8 of an inch. By how wide? It's kind of hard to measure like that and see it, but that is 3/8 wide. Okay? And then it's located on both ends. Alright, what else do we have? This is called a groove. How do we know that's a groove? Because it's a groove in a board that goes with the grain. So I'm going to write groove. And how deep is the groove? Well, I don't even have to measure it. It's the same depth as a rabbet. So we know that that was 1/8. So 1/8 deep by how wide? Well, this one, again, it's hard to measure. I put the 1 there and it goes to 1 1/4, so that would be 1/4 wide. Okay, now, where's that groove located? Well, it's located either down from the top or up from the bottom, if we call this the bottom of the box. So if we measure, it is 3/4 of an inch from the bottom edge. 3/4 from bottom edge. Okay, what else do we have here? We have the design. So I'm going to put the design. What can I say about the design? Okay, this one's a little bit harder. It's a lot of information you have to give. You're not going to have something like this on the birdhouse, but I'll just locate it. So the design is located on bottom edge, and it starts and stops 3/4 from the ends. Starts and stops 3/4 from ends. And what's the height of it? This one, I have about 1/4 inch left. So if that's 3/4 minus 1/4, it'd be 1/2. So we will say that is 1/2 inch high. Okay, so the design is 1/2 inch up. And that's all I'm going to do for that one. So let's move to our next pieces. Next pieces, we'll call these the ends. So over here I'm going to put ends. There's 2 of them. How thick are they? They are 3/8 thick, just like the front and back. How wide are they? They are 3 inches wide, just like the front and back. How long are they? They are 3 1/2 inches long. And now those are made out of pine. Okay, so over here, what kind of notes do I put for the ends? Well, they have a groove. That groove is the same as the groove on the front and back. But I still got to put that information over here. So I'm going to put they have a groove. And I can come up here and say that it's 1/8 deep by 1/4 wide. And then it's located 3/4 from bottom edge. Okay, so we got those parts done. So the last one is the bottom. Okay, so here I'm going to do bottom. We have 1 piece. Its thickness, this is 1/4 inch plywood. This is 1/4 inch plywood. It's actually a little thinner than 1/4 inch, but because it's 1/4 inch plywood, we'll call it 1/4 inch. How wide is it? 3 1/2. Remember, width goes across grain. How long is it? 5 1/2. And this is birch plywood, so the material would be birch plywood. Your material for your birdhouse, the bottom is MDF. Okay, MDF. Write that in that spot. Okay, so that's the first part you're going to do. So for the birdhouse, you're going to look at all the parts. You're going to measure the width, length, thickness, dados, rabbets, grooves. We also have holes in them. You need to locate the hole. How far is it to the center of the hole? And what the diameter of the hole is. So you need to locate everything. What you don't have to locate is the small holes for the nails, and I'll talk about that when I assemble. So that's the first half of this project that you'll do at home, is to fill out your project plan with your cut list and the information on the details of each piece. Now we'll transition over to assembling the birdhouse.